With a few more days to go for the Assam elections, the BJP and the Congress have finally released their manifestos, which has a lot of promise for the people. While the Congress's focus is on a 5 guarantee campaign, the BJP has released what it calls the 10 Sankalp manifesto. Now, what are these manifestos? These are a number of things that both these parties promise to do for the people if they are voted to power. And the issues that have been raised by these parties include the controversial Citizenship Amendment Act, includes the National Register of Citizens, jobs, financial incentives for women, better wages for tea garden workers, finding a solution to the floods in Assam, and a lot of other issues that have been included in the manifestos. So let's have a look at what's in the BJP manifesto and what's in the Congress manifesto. So here are some of the issues which are mentioned in the 10 Sankalpa of the BJP and also the Jan manifesto of the Congress. On the issue of citizenship, the BJP says it will provide a corrected NRC, but it is silent on the issue of the Citizenship Amendment Act. The Congress on citizenship says it will repeal and nullify the Citizenship Amendment Act, but it is silent on the NRC. On jobs, the BJP says it will make Assam the fastest job creator. It will provide 2 lakh government jobs and 8 lakh livelihoods in the private sector for the youth and 1 lakh government jobs before 31st of March 2022. The Congress says it will provide 5 lakh jobs in the public sector and 25 lakh jobs in the private sector. On empowering women, the BJP says it will increase the existing Arunodaya scheme by hiking it to rupees 3,000 per month, whereas the Congress says it will provide rupees 2,000 per month for housewives. The Congress also talks about a loan waiver for women who have borrowed money from microfinance banks. The BJP is silent on that. On the issue of tea garden workers, their wages, the BJP says it will increase the Cha Bagichar scheme from rupees 3,000 to rupees 12,000 and also announces a few more social benefit measures for the tea garden workers, whereas the Congress says it will increase the wage to rupees 365 per day for the tea garden workers. On the issue of land, the BJP says it will provide land pattas to landless Indian citizens. And it also talks about a land jihad. And we leave it to the BJP to perhaps explain what is land jihad. The Congress talks about providing land pattas to landless people who inhabit state-owned lands. Of the other things that are there in the BJP and the Congress manifesto, the BJP talks about love jihad. There is no such jihad mentioned insofar as the Congress is concerned. The BJP talks about eliminating all flood-related issues under the Mission Brahmaputra program. The Congress is silent on floods. The BJP talks about strengthening of Namghars, whereas the Congress talks about financial assistance to all holy places, Namghars, mandirs, masjids and churches. The BJP talks about ensuring brighter future for the children of Assam under its mission called Shishu Unnayan. The Congress mentions a digital library in every constituency, but there is really no mention about children in its manifesto. The Congress also talks about setting up Gaushalas in each district of Assam. The BJP is silent on the issue. So now reality versus promises. And we don't know if promises are meant to be broken, which is why the promises are within quotes. Now on the issue of the NRC, the BJP talks about a corrected NRC. But there is no mention of how that process is going to unfold. How are they going to do the correction? Because remember, the process of the NRC is still within the domain of the Supreme Court of India. Besides that, people that are left out of the NRC, people who have suffered, what is the BJP going to do with them? There's no mention. Are they going to deport them? And if so, to where? These are questions that the BJP needs to answer. Then the BJP is silent on the CAA, whereas in its manifesto in Bengal, which was released just a couple of days back, the BJP says it will implement the CAA in Bengal. But why is it silent on the CAA in Assam? Then the BJP is also silent on Clause 6 of the Assam Accord. The BJP says it will implement the Assam Accord, but very conveniently, the party is silent on the implementation of Clause 6, which is extremely important insofar as Assam is concerned. What is the reason for the BJP to remain silent on the CAA and Clause 6? These are issues that the BJP needs to provide an answer and be more clear so that the voters know what is in the mind of the party insofar as their position on these two very important issues are concerned. These are some of the important questions that people are going to raise because these issues concern the people of Assam, and we've seen how the CAA led to so much protest and there was so much unrest because it concerns people's lives, and it concerns also the important issue of citizenship of people in the state of Assam. The Congress says it will repeal or nullify the CAA if voted to power. The Congress talks about repealing the CAA by bringing it through the State Assembly. Now, the CAA is a central subject. Under the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution, it is in list 1, which is a central subject, and the state therefore has no power insofar as the issue of citizenship is concerned. So what is the Congress really talking about, and how are they going to repeal or nullify the CAA if voted to power? This answer is not provided by the Congress in its manifesto. Therefore, this is at best very, very misleading. I will further explain the CAA in my column in G Plus Weekly, which will be published on March 27th. Jobs. BJP says it will create 2 lakh government jobs, 8 lakh livelihoods in the private sector. The Congress says it will provide 5 lakh jobs and an additional 25 lakh jobs in the private sector. Where are these numbers going to come from? Both the Congress and the BJP has to answer. It looks like whoever was writing the manifesto wrote down whatever numbers came to their mind. So, it's not surprising when people who've read these manifestos are saying both the manifestos are like Jumla. For instance, in both the BJP and the Congress manifesto, there is no talk of developing skills and providing avenues to youths. The other question is, will it create more avenues to match the skills of educated unemployed youths? These are some questions that needs answers. Insofar as creation of jobs are concerned, the Congress talks about setting up SEZs or special economic zones and also BPOs. Now, SEZs are fine, but how different will these SEZs be from what the BJP is talking about? Has the Congress factored in the issue of land and environment when we talk about SEZs? These are some questions the Congress needs to answer, for if not, then the SEZs will sound good to the ear, but on the ground, there are these issues, real issues that face the people, and people are therefore concerned about their land and the environment in which they live. Now, insofar as empowering of women is concerned, the BJP and the Congress talk about cash incentives. They talk about welfare schemes. But the question is, how will these contribute to the economy? Will it trigger more buying? What is the thinking behind it? Or are these just sops? And the Arunodaya scheme, which the BJP talks about, is already shrouded by controversies. Names of the rich have entered the list and the poor have been left out. Is the party going to solve these problems first and then talk about providing more incentives? These are questions again that must be answered, and the voters ought to know, for it is their right to know before they really decide which party to vote for. Both the BJP and the Congress are talking about improving the lives of the tea garden workers by raising their wage. But the tea garden workers are not happy. They are saying, what's happened all these years? The Congress has been in government and the BJP has been in government in the last 5 years. But till today, their wage remains where it is. Their lives have not improved. Therefore, these are questions that not us, but the tea garden workers are asking, and both the parties have to respond by telling us what are the steps and make it clear insofar as their plans are concerned to improve the lives of the tea garden workers. Both the BJP and the Congress are saying they'll provide land pattas to landless people. But the question is, who will monitor this process? How will it benefit the landless people? What are the safeguards for small landowners? These are again questions that need answers. And both these parties have to answer these questions before announcing or promising to provide land pattas to people, which is not enough. So we have said what we had to. Now let us see what others have to say. We have collected a lot of response from people, and let's see what these responses are all about. So after all those responses, we would still like more responses from you on the BJP versus Congress manifesto. What do you think about the two manifestos? Do you think one is better than the other, or both are the same? Please share your views on the comment section below and let us know what you think. And also, please stay tuned in to our take, for we will bring you more on the elections in the days ahead.